Hi everyone, and welcome back to Woman2Woman, where we began a new series last week looking at answering some of life's difficult questions. And today we looked at how do I rebound from failure? How do I get over failure? Have you ever felt like a failure? It's not a nice feeling. Feelings of inadequacy, feeling that you're unworthy, you're useless, you're hopeless, you're stupid. It can put you off trying. It can prevent you from stepping out and stepping into new ventures. I wonder, can you ride a bike? Do you remember learning to ride that bike? How many times did you fall off? But did you get back on again? Did you eventually do it? Did you eventually learn that new skill? Well, today we looked at how do I overcome failure? And the first thing we learned today is that we've all failed. Look around your office space today. Look around at the people in your business space. Look around at the people within your church. Yes, even your pastors and your leaders, even your boss. We've all failed. Every one of us has made a mistake at some point in life. The book of James tells us that all of us will stumble and fall. But we need to learn how to get back up again. And that's what we've been looking at today. You know, in the book of Matthew chapter 25, there's a story, a parable of three servants. And they're all given some money. And two of them take the risk. And they go and they do something with it. They invest it and make more money. But the third servant, well, out of fear of being afraid of failing, he buries it. And when the businessman comes back, he says, "What have you done with your money?" It's the one who buried his talent that he's most annoyed with. Here's the thing about God. God would rather you tried and failed than not try at all. Maybe you're tuning in today and you're thinking about starting a new ministry, but you're afraid. You're afraid of failing. You know, if you've heard from God, if the Master has encouraged you, God would rather you tried and made a few mistakes along the way than not try at all. But fear of failure can make us feel trapped. Failure can make us feel as if it's final. I could never do that. I could never try that. But that's point number 2. Failure is not final. Proverbs 24 encourages us to get back up again. Galatians 6, it talks about not getting discouraged. Don't become weary of doing good. Keep on going. You know, when I fell off my bike, I got back up again and I kept on going. Failure's not final. How many great scientists could have given up after a first couple of trials of an experiment? But if they had of, they may not have got that breakthrough in that medicine that they eventually found. Or that famous artist, how many drafts were put in the bin before they created the masterpiece? Rather than seeing failure as final, we need to look at failure with different eyes. Failure quite possibly could be the stepping stone to that next great thing, that greater that God has for you. So you didn't get that job, but maybe that wasn't the job for you. Maybe God just wanted to teach you something, or you learn something in that process, and then he moves you on to what he does have for you. The third thing we learned about failure today is that it has its benefits. Of course it does. Eventually we learn that skill. Eventually I learned how to ride that bike after a few scrapes and bumps, but I did it eventually. And I'm sure you can testify to the times where you kept on going and you eventually learned that new skill, or you passed that test, or you have that qualification, or you succeeded at that relationship because you kept on going, you kept on trying, and that you didn't give up. You know, we also learn things about ourselves. You know, I've learned more about relationships through my failed attempts at relationships than I have at my successes. You know, when we fall and we stumble and we trip, we learn things about ourselves. It produces perseverance and endurance. It gives us strength to continue and keep on going. Not only does it produce things in us, but it helps us to be more sensitive to others. You're more relatable after you've had a few failures because you can relate to other people. You can draw alongside someone else and be compassionate and humble and patient because you know what it feels like. You've been there. You've experienced a few knocks in life, and it makes you more compassionate and patient with other people. It helps you to identify when someone else actually needs a little bit of helping hand and encouragement to keep on going. And finally, how do I rebound from failure? Well, you need to stop comparing yourself to other people. You know, if you're always going to look at someone else's life and the journey that they're on, you're never going to concentrate on your own journey. There's always going to be someone that can run faster than you. There's always going to be someone that can type faster than you. There's always somebody that can jump higher than you. There's always going to be somebody that's taller, that's prettier, that's more educated, that can say it better than you can. And when we look at other people, we so often can retreat into ourselves, and it is a place of isolation where you think, I can't do that, I must be a failure. But it's because we're looking at someone else's life. We're not looking at the life or the journey that God has set before us, for you. It tells us this in Galatians. It says, you know, run the race that God's got for your life. The Apostle Paul, when he was an old man, he'd made mistakes, he'd messed up, he'd failed. But as an old man, he says, I ran the race, I kept the faith. You know, he didn't say I came first. He didn't say that, you know, I beat all my competitors. It's because it's not about that. God would rather you tried and failed a few times than not try at all. He would rather you got off the starting blocks and run the race, run the life, go on the journey that He's set out for you. He doesn't care about whether you come first or last, or whether you fall and trip and stumble. All He cares about is that you run. And don't worry about running on your own, because you will never be on your own, because God is running the race with you. And every time you trip and stumble and fall, He will be there to pick you back up again and say, come on, you're my child. Keep on going. Don't give up. So failure is not the end. Everyone has failed. You will learn from your mistakes, especially if you stop comparing yourself to others and run the race that God has for you. Because every failing in our life could be the stepping stone to the next great thing that God has for you. So tune in next time. Until next time, God bless.